Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
An overly adventurous dog gets more than it bargained for, falling down a manhole. Then came a dramatic rescue.
A sudden decision about in-person learning is catching some families off guard in one local school district.
A crash and a controversy. The Local 4 defenders investigate an alleged party and a drunk driving crash involving a Detroit fire engine. Glad you're with us for Local 4 News at 6. The accident in question happening right outside a Detroit home where the Detroit Fire Department was responding to help someone who had fallen ill.
And there are questions about a gathering at one of the firehouses shortly before the crash. Local 4 defender Sean Lay joins us live with what the fire department is confirming and what happens now. Sean.
Absolutely, guys, and here is the setup. The woman inside, 46 years old, very sick Sunday night. Her family very concerned. They called 911. Detroit Fire got right here first before an ambulance, and the woman who owns this car, listen to her. She's going to tell us exactly what happened next.
Next thing you know, we hear something that was just like hit, stop, boom, like, who car is it? And they like, oh my God, it's your car, Tanisha.
Tanisha Hawkins' car is smashed up in the same spot it was Sunday night when a Detroit fire engine hit it. Her sister sick inside the home. As soon as Detroit Fire Squad 6 arrived, the 26-year-old firefighter behind the wheel of the $500,000 heavy rescue engine hit her car. Tonight, the fire department is confirming to us that firefighter was drunk behind the wheel, responding to your emergency.
Wow. Okay, what do they do after this?
That's what we're interested in finding out. Detroit Fire now investigating what they're calling a dinner, but what sources are calling a big party here at Engine 50 on the east side. Sources say there was drinking, allegedly lots of drinking, and members of Squad 6 were on duty and drove the fire engine to the party, putting themselves more than 2 miles away from Tanisha's home when they should have been just around the corner. At least one member of that crew, the driver, was impaired, responding to a medical emergency.
Central, this is Squad 6. We've been involved in an accident at our location. Could you please send, please?
Dangerous situation, dangerous.
Yes. Yes, it was.
A supervisor took the firefighter for a drug and alcohol test. One source says the result was a .108 blood alcohol content. Other sources say it was higher. Either way, that firefighter was not arrested.
He wasn't arrested.
No, it's unthinkable that not only was it not arrested, my understanding was that it wasn't even reported to the police immediately. It was something that was reported after the fact.
Attorney Steve Haney has a history of dealing with the Detroit Fire Department, suing them when firefighters took this photo while a home behind them burned.
This is a problem.
There's no question the judgment is poor, but what's being done about it? You know, where's the ownership, where's the accountability from the superiors?
Our rules expressly forbid it, and we're outraged.
Detroit Fire Commissioner Eric Jones says the firefighter has been suspended. The case turned over to Detroit Police, where an arrest could be made. Jones wants to know who was at the party, who was drinking, including department supervisors.
We know that one firefighter consumed alcohol. We have proof of that. In order to make further determinations, we're going to have to complete the investigation and follow the facts where they lead us. Like all first responders, we're outraged that someone would consume alcohol and drive an emergency response vehicle.
There is a lot more to this. We're also learning tonight that at least one senior chief is being questioned as part of the investigation for allegedly being at the party. The chief is being asked how much alcohol the chief may have allegedly consumed. We just now hearing from the firefighters union on this, getting us this statement just now saying they believe this is an isolated incident and pandemic and stress related. They want to work with their members to make sure it certainly never happens again. Guys, back to you.
So, Sean, what happened to the rest of the firefighters who were on that fire engine? Do we know?
There's about 3 more firefighters on the engine, and they were left in service. We asked the commissioner why leave them in service, assuming if they were at a celebration or a party, why just assume that the driver was drinking? What about those guys?
Right.
They were not taken out of service. We do not know how many runs they were on after that. We do not know if they were drinking or not.
Yeah. We know you'll stay on top of the story, though, Sean. We appreciate it.
Let's move to the coronavirus and its impact on education. Earlier this year, Governor Whitmer set a target date of March 1st for school districts to have a plan for offering in-person learning as an option.
With that date approaching, today the governor spoke about the importance of getting kids back into the classroom.
For young children especially, face-to-face learning is critical. And while some students and families have been successful with distance learning, far too many have struggled. A significant loss of classroom hours and instruction time have long-term consequences on a child's long-term development. And right now, tens of thousands of vulnerable children in Michigan risk falling through the cracks and staying stuck behind unless we made concerted efforts to catch them up.
Governor also re-emphasized the safety precautions that she says schools should take, including mask wearing, spacing the desks to encourage social distancing, and making hand washing in school a priority. She also suggests schools implement a cohort model, dividing teachers and students into groups that stay together throughout the school day.
Schools are encouraged to open windows, use fans, and to change air filters in order to maintain airflow and follow testing, screening, and quarantining criteria for anyone who tests positive, exhibits symptoms, or has been exposed to someone who tests positive. The governor says data over the past year shows schools are not a significant source of large COVID-19 outbreaks among young children. And tonight, it appears the Ann Arbor district is ready to offer some level of in-person learning after much debate on the issue.
Yeah, Mara McDonald's been following the back and forth on this and is live with us now with a decision that I think came sooner than some expected, Mara.
Well, Devin, that's right. The board voted at noon today. They said, yes, they are going to go offer a hybrid model, but they're also coming back into session 7 o'clock tonight. And a lot of people have signed up to speak. Ann Arbor Public Schools has been fully remote since last March, one of the few districts to do so and offer no in-person option up until now. Last week, the board directed the superintendent to come up with a plan that would keep the district remote until the fall. That did not sit well with parents and students.
For the past year, since March, I honestly feel like I haven't really learned anything with this online learning. And it's taken such a toll on so many kids' mental health.
The school district tried to tamp down the anger by saying that was merely an option that was being explored. Today, it has now committed to a hybrid learning option starting March 25th, which looks like this. Preschool, young fives, and kindergarten will start hybrid learning format on March 25th, along with small groups of 6th through 12th graders. First and second graders would have a hybrid option April 5th, grades 3 to 5 on April 12th. The rest would be phased in after April 12th. Ann Arbor was one of the last districts holding out on offering any in-person option. The school district also says it has struck up a deal with Michigan Medicine and the Washtenaw County Health Department to get its staff vaccinated. Back here live, Grace, who you heard from in my piece, was one of several students who told me how desperately they want to return to school. Those are academic achieving kids who are worried they are falling behind. She texted me today to say she is thrilled that the school district is going to offer a hybrid in-person option, and the parents group, Ann Arbor Reasonable Return, says it too is pleased that the district is going to be offering a hybrid option as well. Let's see what happens when the meeting starts up at 7 o'clock. We're live in Ann Arbor tonight. I'm Mara McDonald. Local 4.
We sure will. All right, Mara. Checking some of our state's other coronavirus headlines. Today, Michigan reports 1,245 new cases and 9 more deaths to the virus. City of Detroit is now offering a vaccine to anyone 55 years of age and older who drives a Detroit senior citizen to get vaccinated at the TCF Center. You can call 313-230-0505, 230-0505 to make an appointment. Michigan now has 314 cases of the B117 variant. That's an increase from 157 cases last week. Dr. Janae Caldoun says that is a sign there is community spread, and that spread is expected to continue.
Models and national experts predict that this new variant could be the dominant one in the United States by the end of March. Now, this means that for every case of COVID-19, it is more likely that that person will infect others if they have this new variant. But the good news is the same basic public health measures that we've been talking about, masks, social distancing, washing hands, and getting a vaccine when it is your turn, those things slow the spread of the new variants as well.
Dr. Calhoun says more people experiencing symptoms or returning from travel out of state need to get tested so that the state can track the variants and have the data that's needed to lift restrictions.
This Friday, Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine will be reviewed by the FDA advisory panel to be considered for an emergency use authorization. Today, the FDA released the safety and efficacy data the company submitted. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge is here with a closer look at what it reveals. Doc.
Yeah, Kim, so the vaccine is very effective, but an equally important question is how safe it is. Now, so far, the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines have not had any major issues. And the good news is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine looks to be even better tolerated.
The most common side effects were pain at the injection site, headache, fatigue, muscle aches, nausea, and fever. All of the side effects were more common in people who got the vaccine compared to placebo. Notably, the rate of these side effects with the J&J vaccine was significantly lower than the percentage of people who reported them in the Pfizer and Moderna studies. But, just like with Pfizer and Moderna, side effects were more common in younger participants. Now, many viewers have asked if side effects from the vaccine might be more common in people previously infected with COVID. Neither the Pfizer nor Moderna data could answer that question, but this study had 154 vaccine recipients who had antibodies to the coronavirus, and there was no difference in reported side effects. Although no serious concerns about safety were noted, there were things the FDA will likely monitor as the vaccine rolls out. 6 people who received the vaccine reported tinnitus, a ringing in the ears, with none in the placebo group. 15 blood clots, particularly causing DVT and pulmonary emboli, were seen in the vaccine group compared to 10 in the placebo group. The current information isn't enough to tell if there's a causal relationship between the vaccine and either tinnitus or blood clotting, and this will need to be monitored going forward.
Now, the study also looked for cases of Bell's palsy, since that was brought up during the evaluation of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. There were, in fact, 2 cases in both the vaccine and placebo groups. There were also 8 pregnancies reported, 4 in each of the vaccine and placebo groups, but the numbers were too small to draw any conclusions about vaccine use in pregnancy.
Interesting. Okay, so what's next for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, Doc?
Well, you know, Kim, the FDA's advisory panel is going to meet for several hours on Friday to go over all of the safety and efficacy data. Then they're going to vote on whether or not to recommend the FDA grant emergency use authorization. But based on the data, experts do expect the panel will vote favorably. Yeah. Back to you.
All right, we'll see what happens. Dr. McGeorge, we appreciate it.
Tiger Woods recovering tonight after lengthy orthopedic surgery. He suffered severe compound fractures in his right leg after that single car crash yesterday morning. An investigation continues into what led to the crash. It happened in an area, though, that is a known trouble spot for speeding and for accidents. Police say they do not believe that Woods was impaired in any way, but they believe he was likely driving at a high rate of speed. Doctors believe he is going to spend several months now in rehab and recovery. No charges, by the way, being considered in the accident. More on Tiger Woods' recovery ahead at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
All right, well, this weather, we're not taking it for granted. Hi there, Ben.
Yeah, Kim and Devin, if you were stuck inside when we got to 53 today, don't worry. We won't quite get there, but we'll get somewhere close for the weekend. We'll look at those numbers coming up.
It's a long fall for this four-legged friend who fell through a manhole. See what first responders had to say about the rescue.